Hi, it's David in the Stained Glass Studio, and recently Caleb and Landon and Christopher visited our stained glass studio to build a different type of project. It's a 3D project. You could make a ball, a sphere, a candy dish, a plant holder, but all of these items are three-dimensional. Now, as you can see, they're nailing down patterns that they printed out at home, and they got these from bluehillglass.com, and that's what you'll need. And you'll also need to get one of their three-dimensional molds if you want to be able to build this project. So that's the first thing you want to start with. You got to go for accuracy. You want to make sure these molds are built well, or these pattern pieces, and so you want to trace them out good and cut them out good. So now they've got them pretty much completed, and now they've got to go and pick out their glass colors. I don't think any of them were really all that concerned about what color they came up with. They just wanted to, you know, have something that was pleasing to them. And so they're talking right now about how many of the different shapes. There's only 2 shapes, and on the pattern page there it tells you how many that you'll need, and so that's what they're going for right now. And Christopher's wondering what colors would be best. Landon just wanted to go and get some, and so off they go. So, and we do have some scraps here in the studio, so there they go. They're going over to the scrap bins. And now Caleb is setting up his GoPro so that you can see his cutting technique and his ability. And at the end of this video, I'm going to try and pop in a little segment that he shot. We'll see if that works. One of the things that Christopher noticed after doing this project was that his arm was a little bit sore the next day, and he wondered why. And then he remembered that he'd been doing this repetitive task of cutting, and he must have been pushing harder than he needed to be pushing. And so that's one of the things that can happen, is that you can find that you've been using muscles that you're not used to, or you could be trying so hard that it adds a lot of stress to you. So these are things that you get experience with. And you can see here that Caleb's getting quite a number of the little pieces built up right there in his pile. And we're trying to discover how exactly things are going to go together. And there was a lot of discussion about how we would put it together, and how the people at Blue Hill would do it. Christopher now is flattening his pieces on the Diamond Max grinder. It's kind of nice because it's a flat surface that just works so well, and it works better for flat surfaces than the regular rounded bit that the inland grinder has. And so we're really happy to have it. And now here's Landon doing some. You know, Landon worked on a video that we did, about 7 years ago, and it's kind of fun to have him kind of reprise his role as a grinder expert. And it's kind of fun to see that. And I don't know if he's done any stained glass in the 7 years since he did that project, but it's kind of fun to have him here. See how nicely that grinder cooperates as you just grind it, and you can be very careful and very precise with it. And the reason we took the sound out of this video is so you wouldn't have to hear all that grinder noise. Look at all these pieces you need for a ball. And I think these might be Caleb's. And what do we got here? Okay, now Christopher is getting ready to foil. He's going to start placing it on here. He's very cautious and very careful. He knows that when you work with these types of construction, the 3D stuff, that you do have to be very careful and precise. He's done some pieces with woodwork and found that they were very critical. So that's the experience that he brings to this project. He understands how very careful you have to be as you put these pieces together. And you know, it's the same kind of process that you do with any other stained glass, you know, putting foil on. And I think I put a reminder up here, yeah, about this mold here in the front, that you want to order from Blue Hill Glass. And so you can see those pieces sitting on the 3D mold. Now, one of the things that we're doing here is we're adding solder to the pieces. We're tinning them, a small layer of tin all the way around the piece, so that if you happen to miss a spot when you're soldering them, it won't be that you missed. They will have gotten some on it, and this prevents you from having mistakes that you can't fix later on. Now, this is not something that they taught to do at Blue Hill Glass, but it's just one of the techniques that we feel is important to us as we go along and work on three-dimensional projects. So Christopher continues on fluxing and tinning his pieces, getting them ready so that then he can begin the assembly process. I just I love it. I did want to say that that mold is really cool, and they have a good video on how to use it, and so you'll want to follow that. Looks like I'm a little bit redundant here, telling you about tinning already again. And so now I think Christopher's about to start for real on the three-dimensional stuff. So he takes his mold, places it down. It's only got 3 surfaces to solder to, and that's all you need. And they show you in their video how cool that can be. How you can just, you know, rotate it around. And so since they show it, we don't need to. So it's gonna start putting it together. Now you don't actually need to add more flux here because you've already got flux, and so it just requires a little tiny bit of assembly. You just, you know, add a little dab of solder, and then you worry about that part later. And now he's shifted it some, and he's working on adding more pieces. You see how it builds up higher and higher on the mold. So there he goes. And he brings that right up to the next angled spot and builds it up. Now here is Caleb playing with his ball, and he's going to make a lamp out of it. So he's got a section out of the bottom, and Landon is going to do a plant a succulent in his. So that's pretty cool. Caleb is going to show us that he's left a hole in the bottom of it so that he can put lights inside. Yep, right there. And anyhow, thanks for being with us. We hope you like this, and stay tuned to the end where I'm going to try and put Caleb's little video on.